Hi, it's Paul from Model Builder International. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, the link is down there somewhere. That way you get notified of future videos. Today we're going to have a look at a new kit from Italeri. This is their 1/32 TF-104G. The TF-104G, as you probably noticed, was a twin-seat version of the F-104G. It had a cockpit canopy similar to that of the 104Ds, with a fixed transparent area separating the two leftward open canopies. It had the fire control system of the single-seat 104G and was equipped with underwing racks which could accommodate many of the same weapons as the single-seat 104G. However, the TF-104G did not have the centerline bomb rack of the single-seat version, and as was the case with the 104B and D twin-seaters of the United States Air Force, the 20mm Vulcan cannon was also deleted, and there was some internal equipment that was rearranged, and the internal fuel capacity was reduced. Lockheed built 220 of these Gs in 6 slightly different versions for the countries they were going to be delivered to. Okay, so let's have a look inside the boxes. The box is pretty big, as you can see. It just about squeezes onto the area I do my videos in, so we'll go for it. So, kit number 2509, 1/32 TF-104G by Italeri. Neat pictures on the sides, looks like a couple of big decal sheets and photo etch included as well. And just the decal options on that side, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 of them. So let's open it up and have a look-see. So, as said, we've got 2 really big decal sheets. So we got German, Canadian, American, Spanish, I think there's a couple of Italian, Dutch, and Belgian, I think, as well. So there's all the stencils are there as well. So some nice options there, different colours, camouflage, plain metal, aluminium. So there's lots there to look at. 2 really big decal sheets, I think I've seen so big. Instructions, 2 booklets. This one is the painting and decals guide, as you can see. We'll go through these in detail and later on in the video. But it looks like instrument panels, stencils, the common ones. Then we get into the colour schemes, camouflage, Italian, 2 Italian camouflage, a grey Luftwaffe one, flat aluminium Canadian one, and a US Air Force one, German one. German one's actually mostly aluminium as well, with white wings. And then a looks like light grey Spanish one, and a camouflage Belgian one. Oh, and then a Dutch one on the back that's camouflaged as well. So 8 different versions, camouflage schemes there, which is pretty neat. Then the booklet is pretty thick, 36 steps there, as you can see. Looks like there might be letters here as well, actually. So we go through some unused parts, because obviously the TF-104, although it could be armed, didn't have the centre pylon. There's less fuel in it as well, and there's no cannon either. So obviously this is based on an earlier kit by Italeri as well. Colours, FS numbers and Italeri paint numbers. And then straight in with the seats. Seat belts are in photo etch. There's quite a few bits there. 5, 6 steps just for the seats. Then into the front cockpit, rear cockpit, more building cockpit. Looks like a complete engine. That looks like quite a nicely detailed engine just from the images there. And it's going through nice big diagrams, nice and clear, look like good steps. You have the option of fitting the engine or not fitting the engine by the looks of it. Air brakes open or closed. You get a stand for the looks like you get a stand for the tail of the aircraft and the engine, which is nice. It makes for a nice diorama. You can actually take off the aft end of the fuselage, have the engine out, open a few panels, dangle a few wires out, and there you've got a very nice diorama. And then undercarriage, notice there's little notes everywhere about which things are for which decal options, and yeah, it looks quite nice. Centerline rack empty as you'd expect, and you get some ladders as well. So from the instructions it looks very nice, and you've got some nice build options in there as well. So what have we got here? That's nice. I think there's cardboard separating it out, and the see-through parts are actually taped down. So not only they're in their own bag, but they're securely held in place as well, so they can't move. And there's rivet detail on the clear parts where needed. And here's the photo etch. It's got its own cardboard backing sheet and was stuck down as well, so that's nice. Seat belts in there, so it's quite nice. Let's have a look at that. We've got 1, 2, 3 bags of stuff. Let's just get rid of this. Make sure there's nothing else hiding away in there. So I'll quickly open these and we'll have a quick look at these before we go into more detail. Okay, so here's the pile of plastic. There's a seat. Some nice detail on the seats there, I can see, as you'd expect in the scale. Fine detail, the pull handles, overhead pull handles are there. They're quite nice. We have 2 of these with the fuel tanks, the weapons which are not used, main wheels, like more seat parts, really nicely detailed. Attachment points look pretty good as well. Ejector pin marks are all out the way, so they look good. So this is most of the main fuselage. Intakes, undercarriage. So this is a bit of size for the length of the model. It's going to be what, a good more than 12 inches long. Instrument detail, panel detail on the cockpit there. Recessed paddle lines. Some raised detail as needed. Some nice panel lines there. So that looks quite nice. On the other side, plenty of space in the nose cone to add weight if we need it. We get more details. Looks like some maybe some panels we can leave open by the looks of it. We'll have to see where this part goes. Looks like an instrument, instruments that sit inside a panel. Lots of really nice detail on this. The canvas effect on there. Instrument panels look good. So no, looks rather nice. That tail plane seems to have come off, where it was attached. It's nice and thin. Again, I can feel the rivets under my hand there. There's your engine. What's that? About 4 inches long, maybe 5. Compressor blades, exhaust. It looks nice. Some nice detail inside there as well. Actually see-through, you can see through that as well. So it looks really nice. Spend a bit of time painting the exhaust up and you'll be good. And then the last one. We come in, there's the tail, another instrument panel, main undercarriage, 2 wings, teeny tiny things on a starfighter. I stood next to one of these things once before, a Norwegian one, and they are really tiny, or not very tall. You can sort of stand next to them and look down into the cockpit. So it looks quite nice. Rib detail inside there. So looks very nice. What we'll do now is we'll go have a quick look at the history of the TF-104G in real life and in plastic, and then we'll go through the instructions. There's too many instructions to go through all of them, so I'll just choose a few edited highlights. We'll have a close-up look at some of these parts. There'll be loads of photographs of these parts on the website, way more than you see in the video. So yeah, let's have a look at the next bit. So if you want a TF-104G in 1/32 scale, then this is the only kit in town. In fact, if you want a twin seat 104 in 1/32 scale, this is it as well. There are no other versions. The only other option you have, if you like some extra work, is there's a conversion kit out there to allow you to convert, I think, a Hasegawa F104G into a TF-104G, but that's about your only option other than this. That being said, it's quite well detailed. The kit contains 338 plastic parts and 7 frets, although 48 are not used, mostly weapons, for obviously this weapons that are not used on the trainer version. You also get 24 clear parts, 47 photo etch parts, and obviously there's 2 large decal sheets, and we'll have a look at those in a minute. As I mentioned earlier, I'm not going to go through all the steps that are involved in building this kit, otherwise we'll be here all day. But I'll just sort of choose some certain sections and give like an overview and have a look at some of the main parts of the kit. So first off, as always, starting in the cockpit, seats. There's actually 6 steps of seats, but when you look at it, it's because they give you 2 different versions of seats. There's Martin Baker seats for 5 of the decal options, and there's Lockheed seats for 3 of the decal options. The seats look pretty detailed themselves. They're made up of roughly about 10 parts per seat. Add the photo etch seats, seat belts onto that as well, and some other photo etch parts that go in there as well. So overall the seats look quite nice. Next up, the main undercarriage bay has some nice detail already moulded into it, and the main undercarriage legs come as one piece and fit directly in there, and they look pretty good too. Next, let's have a look at the engine. That comes almost as a nice little kit of its own, to be honest. There's some nice moulded detail, and also there's some parts that fit on it as well, and you can have it as a standalone item outside of the aircraft if you want. Now let's have a quick look at step 14, just have a quick look at some of the external detail on the outside of the fuselage. And as you can see in this, the engine in this particular step is mounted outside of the aircraft. The previous step actually gives you the fitting it inside the aircraft, and you've got a piece of photo etch that helps hold it all in place too. Now let's look at step 16. I think I mentioned there might be a panel you can have open when I was opening the box, and here you can see at the bottom right there is indeed a panel you can have open and display the boxes inside. Step 21 is where you fit the wings. The wings go together, looks like 4 parts each, and you also have the option of air brakes open or closed as well. Now step 23, you can clearly see that you can have the engine fitted inside the aircraft, or you can have it outside the aircraft with the tail not fitted on the aircraft, have 2 separate parts, and the tail is its own sub-assembly. And here in step 24 answers the question of what to do with the tail if you're not going to fit it to the aircraft. Really nice little move is they supply you with a stand for the tail, and I won't show you at step 25, they also supply you with a stand for the engine. So you can actually make a really nice little diorama here with the aircraft with the tail off and the engine out. All you need to add is some wiring to the engine to sort of make it a bit more realistic. Maybe open some panels if you want to inside the aircraft, add some wiring on the inside, and you'll be good to go, and it'll look quite nice. As you see here, you get a full set of fuel tanks to hang underneath the aircraft, or underneath the wings, or to go onto the wingtips. And finally, step 35, as a nice little touch, you get a ladder for crew access. So again, if you want to make a diorama out of it, this will help as well. Now there's a quick chat about decals and painting. As you saw when I opened the box, you get 2 big decal sheets for the 8 different decal options that you have. You get a full set of stencils as well. Colours are named, called out by federal standard, and also numbered on the Italeri acrylic paint range. The 8 options are pretty different. You've got camouflage, you've got natural metal, so all of them should look pretty good. You've got some grey ones as well, many nationalities: Italian, German, Canadian, American, and then Spanish, Belgian, and a Dutch one as well. So it should appeal to many different nationalities, this particular kit, and you'll end up with quite a nice, colourful in some cases, or shiny in some cases, kit at the end. Okay, so an overall conclusion. This kit is the only one really on the market for a 1/32 TF-104G. Italeri has done a nice job with what they've put in the box. Enough photo etch to help you get along. There doesn't seem to be any aftermarket photo etch for this kit from the likes of Edward and so on. You will get 8 very different decal options, very different paint schemes, so that should give it a wide appeal. Also many different, I think 7 different nationalities of aircraft as well. I like what they've done with the engine and the mounts for the trolleys for the engine when it's out the aircraft, the tail when it's not fitted to the aircraft, and also the crew access ladder as well. So you've got enough in there to sort of build quite a nice diorama straight out of the box without having to worry too much about sourcing other products or building stuff for yourself. So it should do quite nice. The level of detail on the kit is very nice as well, as you'd expect for a modern 1/32 kit as well. So it should look quite impressive when it's built, and Italeri have done a nice job of putting everything in the box that you might need. And the only thing I'll say is many thanks to Italeri for sending it along for us to have a look at.